welcome to episode 29 of ERRX. So my last few evening shifts in the ER seemed unusually busy. Was it because someone said the awful Q word earlier in the shift? Was it because Halloween is just a few days away? And not only is it Halloween, but this year's Halloween just happens to fall on a full moon. Or maybe I was working with a black cloud resident. This week we dive into these superstitions a little bit. We'll start off with every healthcare worker's favorite superstition, the Q word, a word so bad that we can't even say it out loud, even on a podcast. It's amazing because this is such a widespread superstition that a good number of people actually took time out of their lives to run randomized controlled trials on it. One of the most often cited studies on the Q word was published in BMJ. This was a prospective, randomized controlled trial that was run in a microbiology department. They had two members of the micro team assigned to either say, and I quote, "Today will be a quiet day," and that was the intervention group, or they were told not to say the Q word in any context whatsoever during their shift. This was the control group, and they did this for about 30 days each. The primary outcome was mean overall workload, defined as clinical episodes, which included telephone calls and the number of significant results during a 24-hour period. Over 61 days, they found that there was no difference at all between workload in the intervention group and the control group. Disappointing, but to be precise, the intervention group did have 145 clinical episodes, and the control group had only 139. Maybe the Q word led to 6 more clinical episodes? That's my takeaway. Another multi-center randomized controlled trial had much better results. In this trial, an orthopedic surgeon would flip a coin, and if it was heads, they would have to use the Q word at evening handoff. They had to literally say, "Have a quiet night, I'll see you in the morning." If they flipped tails, they would just say, "Have a good night, I'll see you in the morning." The primary outcome was the number of new referrals between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. that resulted in hospital admission. The Q word group consisted of 18 nights and the control group consisted of 24 nights. The mean number of night referrals leading to admission was 3.1 in the Q word group, but only 1.7 in the control group, and that actually was significant. The authors concluded that the mechanism by which the Q word caused an increase in workload is unclear, but they quote, "It's likely that the supernatural forces at work are beyond the grasp of even the most skilled orthopedic researchers, and that we should use words like calm and low volume instead." They also went on to say that more research should be done on how to reverse the Q word's effects if ever spoken out loud, and that we should employ a Q word specialist manager. I like these guys. Next up, we have the full moon and Friday the 13th superstitions, where people believe that full moons and Friday the 13th lead to busier ERs and even worse patient outcomes. The number 13, Fridays, and full moons are some of the oldest superstitions that humans have, dating back centuries. Friday, as the 13th day of the month, actually happens 1 to 3 times per year, and sometimes, as we know, a full moon falls on a Friday. But what about having a Friday the 13th and a full moon? This only happened 9 times in the entire 20th century, the last time being in October 2000. And the next time this will happen is in August 2049. So what I'm saying is, put your PTO request in for that month. This year, Halloween falls on a full moon, and this hasn't happened since 1944. So basically what I'm saying is that we're in for a very busy weekend. But is there any merit to these claims? A study from Switzerland looked at over 14,000 patients in an ER setting to see if a full moon had any effect on patient injuries or illnesses. The data showed no differences in injuries or illnesses between Friday the 13th or full moon nights compared to normal nights. They even looked at a single Friday the 13th that also fell on a full moon, and also found no differences in ER workload. Another study looked at a period of 13 months with 54,000 patients to see if the number of trauma patients was increased during a full moon night in the ER. They also didn't find that the full moon caused more injuries and therefore more trauma patients in the ER, or that it caused more suicide attempts or led to higher severity of traumatic injury. Yet another trial, this time with over 150,000 patients over a 4-year period, also found no difference in total patient visits, ambulance runs, or admissions to the hospital on full moon nights, and a full moon occurred 49 times during their study period. So the data says there's no merit to the claims, if you believe data. What about black clouds and white clouds? Providers who admit fewer patients with more straightforward problems are referred to as white clouds. On the other hand, providers who get crushed with multiple complex new admissions are referred to as black clouds. Gray clouds don't fall into either group. In one study, they actually looked at 19 self-described black and white cloud interns over a period of 107 on-call night shifts. They found that the average number of admissions was higher in the black cloud group by 24%, and they admitted on average one more patient per night, which was significant. Gray clouds admitted a number that was not different between the other two groups. The study didn't include number of calls from pharmacists or nurses, time spent working up patients, acuity of illness, or time sleeping, which we all know would be great measures of a busy night shift. But it did agree with a previous study that showed black cloud pediatric residents slept less. Is this a self-fulfilling prophecy? Or maybe black clouds are just less efficient or more anxious? I'm not here to judge. The data speaks for itself. All in all, you can have your studies and facts, but I'm sticking to it. We shouldn't say the Q word. Your full moon Halloween shift is going to be rough, and black clouds do exist, and I think I may be one of them. As always, thank you for your time and happy Halloween from your favorite Q word specialist manager.